Hello everyone and welcome back to your piano lesson. If you are here for the first time, I am Gianluca Fronda, your virtual piano teacher. If you want to discover interesting facts about me, you can watch the introduction video of this channel. I'm leaving the link in the description of this video, where you will find also the link for my artistic channel, Gianluca Fronda, pianist and composer, if you're interested in original music and covers. Talking about this channel, don't forget to subscribe and let me know about yourself by commenting. Tell me when you have started, if you're finding my channel interesting and you're improving your skills also thanks to my videos. And don't forget also to share with your friends if there is anybody interested in piano music, anybody that you know. So now time to go to our lesson. Welcome back to your music theory lesson. Today is the 5th one. And it's time to talk about the accidentals, the sharps, flats and the natural sign, either when they turn key signature or when they are in the single bars. And let's dive into the understanding of what they are and how to use them. Let's start writing accidentals. They are, as mentioned, sharps or flats. Which ones are the sharps? The sharp is the, let's say, the easiest one to recognize and to remember. It reminds you, many of you know about hashtags due to the social medias today, and this is the way we draw the sharp sign. The flat is expressed using a B. But what they are, what do they mean, what do they do? Let's pay attention 1 second to the keyboard. Until today I've been talking about the white keys. We know the notes, we know C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But to make it simple now, we have to ask ourselves, and what about the black keys? We will never play the black keys? No, it's time, obviously, to discover the black keys, how to play them and when and why. For example, let's try to first of all understand how the keyboard is made. The keyboard is made in a very simple and specific way. The distance in between each key, and not skipping even one, is always the same. It is called semitone, half step. And which one is the tone if this one is the semitone? The tone would be the one when you move from one white key to another white key and there is a black key in the middle. When you move from one white key to the following black key, you are moving one semitone. This is the semitone or half step. Is a semitone or half step also if you move from a black key to the following white key, because there is nothing in between them. Indeed, the minimum distance on the keyboard is the semitone, the half step. According to the way the keyboard is made, the semitone, the half step, occurs naturally in between the E and the F. Why? Because we don't have anything in the middle. In between them there is nothing, there is no black key, and this is naturally a semitone. And is also in between the B and the C, where indeed, as you can see, we don't have anything. Or if I move here, even easier for the camera. So between the B and the C there is nothing. So naturally E and F and B and C, they are already distant one semitone. Let's now analyze two more complicated cases. If I move from black to black, pay attention, since in between them there is a white key, this is the interval of one tone. This is a tone. They are one tone distant. Any of them. Black, black, since there is a white in the middle, the interval is one tone. Same story here. But pay attention now. And what if I move from one black to a white, having a white in the middle. This is also a tone. See, this is a semitone, plus a semitone is one tone, but obviously you don't need to pass through. You can move from this note to this one and this one tone distant. Same story if I move from white to black, that has one white key in the middle. This is a tone as well. Either play in a melodic way, moving from one to another one, or playing them together is also a tone, but these things will be developed in the future. So we have seen now which ones are the intervals on the keyboard. White is a tone, having one black in the middle. This one, white, since it doesn't have anything in the middle, is a semitone, same as this one. We have twice the move white, where the distance, the interval is a semitone. B, C, and E, F. And then we have seen what does it mean moving from black to black, when there is a white in the middle is also a tone. And we have also analyzed what does it mean moving from black to white, when there is a white in the middle it is also a tone. And white-black, having a white in the middle, is also a tone. That's all. These are all the possible combinations. Otherwise, it's always semitone, 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 semitone. They are all semitone, because the keyboard indeed is tuned respecting the distance of one semitone or half step from the beginning up to the end. Let's talk about now the sharps and the flats. The power of the sharp is the one of raising the tone of half step of one semitone. The power of the flat is the one of lowering the note of one semitone. Let's talk about the sharp. In practice, it raises the sound, the note of one semitone. If I want to play this one, I can call it in two different ways. Either C sharp, if I consider it like a C that has been raised. Even though it seems to be complicated, for now simply pay attention, follow what I'm saying. You will understand on the way, don't worry. So this note can be called either C sharp, or, pay attention, can be called also D flat. Each key has at least two names. C sharp or D flat. Same story this one, let's see if you've understood. This one can be called either D sharp, if I consider like a D that has been raised, or can be called E flat, if I consider like an E that has been lowered of one semitone. But since I think it's easy, we can move on. This one can be called either F sharp or G flat. This one can be called either G sharp or A flat. This one can be called either A sharp or B flat. I can introduce that the most famous black keys at the beginning are the F sharp, that you will find many times in the first pieces, and the B flat. So this note, instead of being called G flat, is called F sharp, and you will understand in the future why. And this one is considered like a B flat instead of being considered an A sharp. But I want to push you even more. These notes can also change name. Because if you understand the principle that the sharp raise the note of half tone, or the flat decrease lower the note of half tone, if you have understood the principle that the keyboard is tuned by semitone, keeping the distance of one semitone from each key, pay attention. This key can be also called E sharp. Is not only F as you have learned at the beginning, but can be also called E sharp. And this one can be also called, pay attention, not only E but also F flat. And you're finally understanding that the names can definitely change. This key is not always E, can be also F flat. And this one is not always F, but can be also E sharp. Obviously this is for advanced levels, but since this is a theory lesson tutorial, I have to introduce, and you will definitely use this knowledge when it's needed. Same story is valid for these two keys that you know as a middle C, as a C in general, and as a B. This one that you know as a middle C can be also called B sharp. And this note that you know as a B can be also called C flat. And that's all for now regarding the different possible names of the notes. I was saying that today I want to also talk about something else, that is the use of the sharps and of the flats in the key signature. What does it mean, key signature? Today we have to obviously limit our explanation to the simple understanding of the graphical aspect of this thing called key signature. Then we will apply in practice as soon as we will discover the scales and more. Pay attention. We said that the piano stave is made using a bracket at the beginning, the treble clef on top, the bass clef underneath, placing these two dots around the fourth line. You have discovered that I can have a time signature, for example, yeah? Let's use the most basic one, the 4/4. But look, this time I have finally left a little bit of space here, because it's exactly here that falls the one that I call key signature. This one is the time signature. These ones are the clefs, but here, exactly here, we can have new elements. The key signature can be empty, obviously, and it means that you will discover that it means that we are either in the key signature of C major or of A minor, because we have to understand, we have to discover where we are. We have also kind of virtual regions, virtual places in music, and you will understand what does it mean. But you can also have new elements like the sharp and the flat. You can have one sharp, and the sharp that you will have, if you will remember the notes on the lines and in the spaces. So if you remember, on the fifth line, this sharp, you look, is being placed exactly half above and half below the fifth line. On the fifth line, according to my explanation of the notes on the lines and in the spaces in treble clef, look which one I have. So E, G, B, D, F. F is the name of the note on the fifth line. And indeed, what did I say? That here I have now F sharp. This is the most basic key signature after the one without anything. It means that all the Fs of the piece of the composition of the song will have to be played sharp. So you will move, you will discover this is the key signature and scale of G major, and you will have to play a melody that has this note, this key, instead of having it white, the F white. I know that at the moment it doesn't really make that much sense to you, because I didn't explain anything regarding the scales and the key signatures themselves and what do they mean. But I want to simply start introducing this concept in this way. As soon as I will explain, will be maybe a little bit easier. So just to mention that you not only can find the sharps during the song, the sharps and the flats during the songs, but you can have them also at the beginning. And once you place here, you have to place also in the bass clef. And obviously it has to go exactly half above and half below the fourth line, because the F in the bass clef is on the fourth line. Let's double check. And voila, here we are, G, B, D, F. If we want to have a key signature featuring the flat sign, the first one, for example, that you will find, writing again, first of all, time signature, and leaving a bit of space, will be, as I said, the B flat. And you will have to place exactly with the head of the B, of this B, half above and half below the third line. Why? Because in treble clef, the B is on the third line, E, G, B. And we like to place it here. And you have to do the same in the bass clef. In the bass clef you will place here on the second line. Let's double check. Indeed, in the bass clef is exactly here. So I understand that this is something quite complicated at this point, but it was a simple introduction to let you understand that these two signs that I have explained will be used to raise the sounds or to lower the sounds, can be also found at the beginning. Now you obviously would want a practical example. What does it mean that I have to use this note. For example, let's use a very basic and simple melody. Many of you maybe know Mary Had a Little Lamb. And many of you, maybe in case you have some experience already playing something, they heard and they saw maybe playing in this way, doing. You see that I've been using only white keys, and I should write them in this way, in a very simple and basic way, yeah? For example, I can do da 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 dum tum tum tum, and so on, okay? But why not maybe, if I want to play in a different way, using a different, I should say, key signature, I can play, obviously I won't then set the key signature at the beginning because it would be too complicated, but I will maybe write along the way some sharp or flat, we will see. I want to start playing from this black key, doing. Now let's start from the lowest note. If this is D, this is E, this one I have to call F, but I will have to call F sharp. And now you know what I do? I want to write again Mary Had a Little Lamb in this way, doing. I write F sharp, E, D, E, F sharp again, and now I explain a very important thing. And I stop. Pay attention. When you want one note sharpened, and there is nothing in the key signature, let's imagine that is, we don't know anything about the key signatures. So, in one song, if suddenly you need a black key, a sound that is different, that can't be any of the white keys, you will have to place this sharp sign before the note. Indeed, I had the F sharp, and I have placed the sharp exactly before the note. Now I move to E, D, E, then I close the bar line because we're in a 4/4, but I need again the F sharp. The simple fact that I placed here, it's not enough to let me skip the sharp sign, because the power of the sharp, pay attention, when it's placed in the song, during the composition, during the piece, the power of the sharp, pay attention, ends exactly with the bar line. But, attention, here I place it again, so because I want it again sharp, but pay attention, as I said, it ends with a bar line. Now this note has to be again sharp. I'm not placing it again. The sharp at the beginning, it's enough. So it's enough to let you play, to let me understand that also these and the last one have to be played sharp. So the power of this accidental goes up to the end of the bar. In this case you had just one and you were okay. Here you have 3 Fs, all of them they have to be played sharp because I want sharp and I've decided at the beginning. Also this is sharp, also this is sharp. One more thing to say. In case, for example, in the left hand, and I have also the bass clef stave, yeah? In case in the left hand I have an F that I don't want to be sharp, I can simply place the F here, imagine it's here, and if I don't want it to be sharp, it's enough that I write in this way. This sharp sign doesn't affect also this F, it's valid simply and only for the space or for the line, for the pitch, for the exact pitch where it's placed. It's not affecting at all this one. If by any chance I want also this, I have to place the sharp also before this note. So the power of the sharp or of the flat is affecting simply and only that specific note, that in this case is exactly this, and not at all the other F. If I want it sharp and is not featured in the key signature, I have to place it here. But indeed, let's now mention the case when I want to mention the F sharp in the key signature. And that, what do? I simply place now, straight after the clef sign, the F sharp here. I place the time signature, and what happened? By magic, now I can write it, and I don't need to place it here, because this one having the F placed here at the beginning automatically turn all the Fs all over the keyboard, in the orchestra, wherever we are, sharp. So, when it's in between the clef and the time signature, it's affecting all the Fs, in this case the F, in the future even more, all of them. When it's not placed at the beginning, but is along the composition, in the single bars, is affecting simply and only the note before which it is placed. Indeed, in this case, I can, as I was saying, I can easily write Maria the Little Lamb again, played starting from the F sharp, but not mentioning at all the sharp sign before the note, as I did here. Same identical thing. Here it was without any mention of the sharp sign. Here I wanted to be in this key signature that featured the F sharp and transform all the Fs all over the keyboard, and not only all over the keyboard. Also, if you're playing guitar, you're singing, you're playing saxophone, whatever it is turning them sharp. The very last element that I have to mention is the natural sign. It is expressed using this sign. Imagine that is a square with an extra line on top here and one extra line below here. This is the natural sign. Which one is the power of the natural sign? Imagine that at some point one of the notes, because the song is in this way, one of the notes that you have sharpened doesn't have to be sharp anymore, but has to turn natural. Imagine that you want, I'm copying this bar, yeah, exactly this one. And I do. I don't need to add anything, yeah, don't worry about time signature, it's a simple example. So, I want to start with a sharp, I want this one to be sharp, but I want that this one, the last one, turns natural, white again. Look what it will happen. It will be, the first two will be sharp, and this one natural, because indeed is going to cancel the effect of the sharp sign that has been placed at the beginning. This is sharp, this one as well, because indeed it goes over, but this one immediately stopping its power, because I want it to be natural. It's a song where it has to be in this way. Let me give you also some example using flat sign, yeah? For example, I want to create a melody that does ta, ta, and then I want this one in this way, yeah? The melody would be, here we are. This is if I want to feature it in the bar. I can also decide to have it written in a way that as the B flat in the key signature, this melody would turn in this way. As I mentioned, not writing down at all the flat sign before the B. Same identical thing, here featured here, because maybe it's part of a song that doesn't need all the B's flattened. Here, since it's featured at the beginning in the key signature region, obviously in this case it's better that I add also time signature because it has to be complete. There is no need, it's here. And you have to remember, you have to keep memory of the presence of the B flat in the key signature. Now, as I was saying, using the natural sign also in this case, if I want then the second one to be natural, what do? I simply do this. So the first one, here is the case where there is nothing in the key signature. And then if the second one I want to be natural, I would do exactly this. And the melody would be possible, why not? But this is possible also in these cases. For example, if I want, also when I have it in the key signature, I can write the first one, obviously I want it flat according to the key signature, but then I want it to be natural. I add simply the natural sign when I want it natural. But now imagine that in the next bar there is again B. This B automatically, pay attention, has to be considered flat according to the key signature, because the power of the accidental, and this is an accidental as well, is cancelled automatically by the bar line. Many times you will see that somebody add it. To be honest, it's not really exact. Obviously they do, because today the level of attention probably is lowering. To be really kind, maximum what can be done is to add it in a bracket to remind you that this one has to be again flat. But it's not needed. It's not needed at all. Indeed, what I did here with the natural sign would be possible also here. Imagine that I want to play as I did here then. As I did exactly here. If I want to do here, it's valid also with the sharps. So the first two Fs would be sharp. If I want the third one, natural, I add it. And that's all. And would be indeed, the first two would be sharp. And then the last one would be natural. And also in this case, because it's valid also here, if I write a new F, this one would be automatically sharp. Also in this case, many times you would find the F sharp placed, but is not really needed. Maximum, to be kind, we can add a sharp sign in the bracket to remind you that you have to go back to the key signature requirement. I think that it is more than enough. Obviously, let's re-simplify. Today what did I explain? I explained the accidentals. The two main accidentals are the sharp sign, expressed by this sign, and the flat sign, expressed by the B. The most basic use is the one of the sharp or of the flat along the melody, along the song. And indeed I told you that if I need, for example, a black key, and we have obviously clarified also how the keyboard is made, the semitones, the tones, if I need this black key, this note played sharp black, I place the sharp sign before the note. If I want it again in the following bar, I have to place it again. The power of the sharp sign is extended up to the end of the bar, and the bar line cancels its power. Then I've explained that it's possible to use also the natural sign. The natural sign has the power of cancelling the effect of the sharp. The most basic indeed use is exactly this one, where I have at the beginning the sharp, but then if this one I don't want any more sharpened, but I want it natural, I place it before the note. Then we have also understood that you can find the sharp sign or the flat sign in the key signature, and is exactly in between. The key signature is exactly in between the clefs and the time signature. You have to place. You can place one sharp, and you will have to understand which one is the sharp that is needed, but these things will be clarified. Or you can have one flat. And I think that for today we can stop, because this concept of the sharp sign, of the flat sign, will be extended and clarified as soon as we will talk about key signatures and more. These are complicated concepts for many students that need time and needs examples and extra explanations. Today simply let's start understanding that we can finally play the black keys. To play the black keys we will use these elements, and after that we will develop step by step the concept. If you have any question anyways, and I think that there is some question, feel free to comment to let me know if you're understanding everything, how is going in general the preparation, the study of the music theory. And if it's the first time you're landing on my channel thanks to this video, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.